welcome back to More Wellness Studio. My name is Chandler Moore Sanders, owner of the More Wellness Studio. Today we're going to do another mat class with a prop-inspired small ball. So this is roughly, 10 to 8 inches around. If you have a small household item, like a small pillow or even maybe a child's toy, something like that, anything that you can make work would be great. If you end up liking this video, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and we'll get to work. Okay, so you're gonna start, first things first, lying down on your back. So the first thing we'll do is just get some body awareness going with the small ball in place. So use your feet to bridge your hips up away from the mat, and then you'll place the ball underneath your sacrum. So the sacrum is a kind of a triangle shaped bone that is right in between the middle of your pelvis on the backside. So you don't want the ball to be up at all in your lumbar spine in the low back. You want it to be supporting right across the widest part of your hips, if you will. So with that in mind, it should feel rather comfortable here in this position. And if you just kind of gently rock from side to side, just to start opening up the low back. Nothing super fancy here, just kind of getting some mobility and some blood flow into the lumbar spine. A few more times here from side to side, and then center yourself back off in the middle. And what we're going to do is take this into a few pelvic tilts. So adjust the ball at any time that you need. And what you'll do here is you're going to contract the abdominals, the obliques here, and bring the hips closer to your ribs. You want to compress the low abdominal wall to tuck the tail under and feel the low back reach toward the mat. It probably won't touch, obviously, because of being elevated on your ball. And then you're going to actively return back to your neutral spine. And again, contracting, like you're shortening some suspenders, curling and scooping the abdominals, really hollowing out that front body, and then actively returning to neutral. Make sure here that you're not gripping with your bottom or pressing through the feet or gripping with your quads. You want to make the abs do all the work here. So you're just mobilizing the spine, getting some nice range of motion. And if you go through neutral and it feels good and you want to arch your low back a little bit, get that little anterior tilt, go for it. That should feel kind of nice. And you're in a supported position with the ball, so it should feel like a really nice, gentle stretch, curling through. So explore those ranges of motion. If anything ever doesn't feel quite right, or you're not sure if you're in pain, you definitely don't want to do the movement. But if it just is something that is a new sensation, explore it. See if going through that range will help alleviate any tight feelings or achy feelings that you might be having. So stabilize again back through relatively through your neutral position here. So it's kind of like the place in between, and just stabilize here for a moment. Again, harnessing that low abdominal space, keeping the hips nice and level. Float one leg up to a tabletop position, and then with control, we're going to lower that leg back down just to a hover right before you tap the mat. Float the leg back up and then back down. Using the breath, one direction or the other, it makes me no difference. Just don't hold your breath. Using the inhale and the exhale to support the leverage of the leg. Keep the focus here in your center, not letting the hip flexor do all of the work. Biomechanically, your hip flexor wants to do the work. You have to trick and make sure that the abs keep that focus. So now we'll leave the leg at tabletop. This time, extend the leg out long to a high diagonal. Pull the knee back in. So you have to create your own internal resistance here. It's as if you're pushing through peanut butter, pushing through molasses, anything that gives you that sense of resistance in both directions. Using the breath, pulling the leg in both directions. One last time here. And then we'll bring the knee back into tabletop and extend it back down to the mat. Other side, float that leg up. Once again, keeping the nice stable position of your pelvis in your center. Tap the toe down toward the mat and then back up. Try not to set the foot down completely because we don't want to give in to gravity all the way. Using the breath once again. Keep it flowing. Just don't hold it. That's where we tend to run into trouble. Last 2 and 1. We'll bring the knee back into tabletop. Now extend it out long on the high diagonal. Exhale. Inhale to pull it back in. Exhale, reach. Inhale, pull. And again, 3. And pull. And again, exhale, reach. And return. One last time. Bring that knee back in. Set the leg back down. Now we'll alternate that march type movement. Pulling one leg up and back down. Other side, lift and back down. If you feel pretty secure here and you want to let your arms float up to the ceiling, this is a nice place to kind of challenge your balance a little bit more. If that doesn't feel quite right to you, that's okay. Just bring the arms back down to your side. We'll do just one more set here from side to side. On this next one, we'll bring one knee up, hold it there, stabilize, bring the other leg up to tabletop, and this is our new starting position, and then your toe taps from here. Exhaling down and lift, deepening in the low abs. So this is a progression. If this doesn't work for you, go back to the previous version we were doing where you start from the floor and just bring one leg up into your tabletop. It's totally fine. Work up to it. You have places to go to build toward. One more time here from side to side. And then we'll take it here into that single leg stretch once again, reaching one leg out and back in, and then switch to the other side. If this is too much, go to the previous variation where we had one foot down to the mat. Using the breath, exhale, reach, pull it back in. Lengthen. This is a lot of work for that transverse abdominis, for the low abdominal space. So take breaks if you need them. Reinvest energy in the low abs. Keep pulling the pit of the belly in. Using that inhale and that exhale. Just one more time. Each side. Bring both knees back in, and then we'll set the legs back down. Again, the ball will kind of roll out of position from time to time, so feel free to adjust it at any moment that you need to. So all of that work we were just doing was more of a stability focus. Now we're going to do some mobility focus. So just like before with those pelvic tilts that we were doing, we're now just going to take the hips more in a side to side, kind of up and down. It's like a teeter-totter. So think about that. One side of the hips is gonna fall down, sending the other hip to the ceiling. So you've got a little diagonal position here. Switch sides, let the other hip fall to the mat as the other hip comes up to the ceiling. My focus, however, is on the side that's coming down toward the mat, and that's what sends the opposite hip up. Try not to focus on the lifting hip, because that will want to pull you up away from the ball. You want to utilize the ball as your pivot point. So let the hip sink to the mat, and that's what tilts the other hip and gets that nice little QL stretch in the low back. Switch. Now, if you're really comfortable here, you want to bring inner thighs, heels, and toes all the way together. If that feels a little awkward, then you can open up to hip width. But I like my inner thighs, heels, and toes together. It really helps me stay centered. And then my pelvis is like a rotisserie around that center point. Just a few more here from side to side. So it's more up and down, not so much side to side. Think straight up and straight down. So it's a rotation of the pelvis. One more time from side to side. It should feel really good. Come back to center, kind of wag your tail a little bit, neutralize the spine. Now the hips are going to move in a horizontal plane. So now the hip shifts out to the sides, kind of like you're sticking out your attitude hip. And then you want to come through center, to the other side and stick out the opposite hip. So again, this is tricky because you don't want it to go up and down. You want to stay side to side. And if you squeeze the inner thighs together, it kind of helps you maintain that center so that you can really work in between the sternum and the thigh bones. Using the breath. If you find a sticky spot like I just did, hang out there for a beat and just really explore that range of motion. Right here, I'm going to my left right now, and I really have to concentrate because I have some deep erector spinae and multifidi muscles that are talking to me a little bit. Coming back through center, and then we'll just do a couple more here, side to side. Opening up that low back. And then center yourself back off. Once again, kind of neutralize, wag your tail. This is a lot of concentrated effort, so take brain breaks. Now we're going to combine the two into a figure 8. So my hip is going to, when we were doing the teeter-totter movement just a moment ago, same idea. That hip comes down toward the mat, scoop up and around, and then dive the other hip down. So we combine the last two movements into what I call a figure 8. Down, up and around. Down, up and around. This is a lot of obliques, so keep your legs quiet, your knees quiet, your thighs quiet. Just try to make the obliques and the abdominals responsible for mobilizing the pelvis in this direction. Again, really utilize your weight into the ball. Try not to lift away from it. Utilize the weight of your pelvis. Scoop down and around, down and around, down and around. One more time from side to side once again. Again, neutralize the spine. Take a breather, get it from side to side. Now think of the pelvis as a clock dial. So your 12 o'clock is going to be the belly button. The pubic bone is 6 o'clock. The left hip is 3 o'clock, and the right hip is your 9 o'clock. So when you tuck your tail under, take it into an imprinted spine. So you're tucking the tail. Now drop the weight of your body over to the left hip. Drop it down into 3 o'clock. Curl around through neutral is your 6 o'clock. Drop the right hip down is your 9 o'clock, and then curve it back around to 12. And then you just want to smooth that out. So it's a little circular motion that you're doing around. Pelvic clocks. These are a classic, oldie but a goodie, meat and potatoes exercise, Pilates exercise. Make sure that even though I've given you the main points, the 12, 6, 3, 9, make sure that you don't neglect the 1 and the 2, the 4 and the 5, 7, 8, 10 and 11. On this next one, as you come back around, stop at 12 and now go counterclockwise. Drop the 9 o'clock back to 6, 3 o'clock around to 12. And keep that range of motion going. Using the breath. Feel the ribs wrapping around, hugging those internal organs as you move through, especially your imprint. Just a couple more here. And one last. Stabilize here. Once again, tuck the tail under slightly to stabilize. Really harness in that energy in the low abdominals. Float the knees up to tabletop. And then this time we're going to extend one leg out. Inhale, exhale, and switch. Switch, switch, switch. And we're going to put a little tempo to it. Pulse, 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 and switch. 2, 3, and pulse. Pulse, 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 and switch. 2, 3, and pulse. Pulse, 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 and switch. 2, 3, and pulse. Pulse, 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 and switch. 2, 3, and pulse. Pulse, 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 and switch. 3. Bring the knees up to tabletop. This time, turn the knees out and flex the feet like you're getting ready to put footprints on the ceiling. Take a breath in here, stretch the legs up long, point the toes, pull the toes back, flex, and bend the knees to come into a little froggy type position. Really squeeze the heels together, push up and point, really stretching the tops and bottoms of the feet. Really open up the toes, stretch and point, flex and return. So you're articulating hips, knees, and all those joints in the ankle, metatarsals, and phalanges of the toes. And press, flex, and come back down. Press, stretch, flex, and return. 2 more times. Press, flex, point through the toes. 1 more time, we're going to stretch the legs up long, point and hold, rotate now to parallel. You're going to stretch one leg away from you, one leg toward you, and you do a little reach, reach. Inhale through center and reach, reach. Trying to, again, maintain that stability on the ball. Get a little wider, wider with that stretch, and pulse, pulse. Stabilize on the ball, pulse, pulse. Inhale, exhale, and reach, reach. Inhale, exhale, and reach, reach. 2 more times here. Reach, reach. Opening hip flexor and hamstrings. Last set. Watch your balance. And reach, reach. Folding the knees into tabletop. 1 leg at a time. You can set back down to the mat. Now use the feet to lift the hips. Remove the ball and now roll back down 1 vertebra at a time and release. Hopefully you feel a little longer, a little more relaxed in your low back. Now we're going to take the ball and lift up slightly. It's going to go right behind the mid back. So it's just at the base of your shoulder blades. Like you can feel the wingtips of my shoulder blades pushing into the ball here. Hands are supporting the weight of the head, and I'm going to reach back. I'm going to open up the front body, arch the spine over the back. So I'm really getting a nice stretch on my abs here from base of my sternum to pubic bone. It's a really nice opportunity to open up the front body. Now tip the chin forward, exhale to come up. Use the breath. Inhale to release back over the ball. Using the breath. Exhale up. Inhale to release. And again, exhale and lift. And lower. Take your time, especially on the negative, especially with that eccentric control. Back into gravity. Exhale and lift. Really grab your abs here. Pull in the pit of the belly on your way in. Hug those internal organs with the ribs and down. If this is a lot of balance work for you, you can open the feet a little bit so that they're about hip width apart. Otherwise, try to keep inner thighs, heels, and toes connected all the way into the center. Exhale and lift. Inhale back down. Last 2 times here. Exhale, lift. And then this time we're going to come up. We're going to hold it at the top. Try to keep even amount of space between elbows and not crossing the arm over the face. Take a breath in, exhale, and rotate. Try to keep the elbows on the same plane. Inhale through center, exhale, and switch. So you will move on the ball a little bit here. Exhale and twist. Inhale, exhale, and twist. Inhale, exhale, and twist. Exhale, twist. Reach. Really think about that elbow that's behind you, really reaching back around as you rotate. Try not to lose the C curve. Lift up so you don't lose the C curve here. Exhale, twist. Inhale, exhale, and twist. 1 last time. Exhale and twist back to center. Adjust the ball if you need to. Again, they do kind of get wiggled out of position. And then from here, we're going to add on a little bit more choreography here. So this time, bringing one leg into tabletop, extend the leg out on a high diagonal. Now this time, as you rotate, pull that knee toward your chest, and then back to center. Exhale again, and reach. Again, exhale, 3, and reach. Exhale, and 4. Reach, one last. Back to center, pull that knee in. Other side, inhale, exhale, reach the leg out long, and twist. Unwind, exhale, 2, and 3. Last 2 here. And pull it in, bring the knees in, and rest it down for a moment. Okay, moving on now, the ball is you're gonna sit up more upright. The ball's gonna come to the small of the back. Arms are gonna reach out here, right in front, kind of like you're holding a big stability ball. Shoulders are down the back, you're soft in the elbow. And we're gonna take this into a little pulsing movement like so, but the accent is on the downbeat. So as you're going back, it's a little exhale and deepen, deepen. Use the breath. Exhale, pull in, pit of the abs, and exhale, 2, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it back, hold, rotate slightly to one side. Your weight is back into the ball. Now you put the accent, but it's kind of like an up and over. Exhale, deepen. It's like a corkscrew, and I'm deepening that rounded position, that spiraling position. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last time, back through center. Other side, keep that weight into the ball. Here we go again. Exhale, deepen. 2, and 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last time, back through center. Kind of roll yourself up and around. Now we'll take the ball. You're going to make it, place it between the ankles to get yourself flipped over. So now that you're face down, hands are layered, one on top of the other, resting the forehead down, shoulders down the back, long neck. Holding the ball between the ankles, take a breath in, exhale, hover the legs away from the mat, and you're going to squeeze the ball. Squeeze, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, almost there, 12, going to 15, and one last. Lower the legs down. Now we're going to add a lift of the upper body. Pull the pit of the belly up and in so that you're not resting your abs into the mat. You still want to stay very active there. Take a breath in, exhale, and lift. Arms and legs. It's not a huge movement, but you're activating the entire posterior chain of the body, and then lower back down. Again, take a breath in, exhale. Use the glutes first to fire, then let the arms, or let the legs and the rest of the body follow. Squeeze the glutes, exhale, and lift, and release it back down. Again, using the breath. Exhale, lift, and back down. Deepen the belly. Exhale, lift, and back down. One more time. Holding it here, squeeze the ball again. Squeeze. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Almost there. Last one. And release it back down. Fold the hips back. Rounding through the spine. Rolling. Okay, now Setting up into your side position here. The legs are extended out nice and long. We're going to take a breath in, squeeze the ball, and lift the legs up away from the mat and release it back down. Squeeze the ball, exhale, and lift, and release. Keep that pressure on the ball. It's going to cause a lot of weeble wobble. You're working for that stability. Exhale, lift, lower, using the breath. Still using the compression of your low abs. Lift the undercarriage, the side of the body that's in contact with the mat. You really want to stabilize and keep that actively engaged as well. You're not just collapsing the side body into the mat. It's still very active here. Lifting and lowering just a few more times. 3. Exhale, 2. And 1. Now this time stay lifted with the legs and squeeze. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 5. Going to 10. 6, 7, 8, 9. Last time. Lowering the legs back down. You can fold the body in. We'll take it around to the other side. Holding onto the ball once again. Lie yourself down. Still really, again, active through the undercarriage. Take a breath in and both legs squeeze and lift and lower down. Exhale and lift. And release. Use the breath. Exhale and lift. Stay active again through the side body, keeping it lifted up away from the mat. As best you can. Your flesh still may touch the mat, that's totally fine, but you just want to keep it active so it's not completely relaxed. 3 more here. On this next one, go ahead and lift up, holding it here, and now we'll squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and release it down. This time, go ahead, take the ball. Knees are connected here. We're going to hold the ball in the front. Take it over to the side into a rotation. Put weight into the ball with your palm, and you're going to do a little sequential 2, 3. Deepening in, all the way back up to the other side. Switch. Exhale, deepen. 2, 3. Inhale all the way up, rotate around, exhale and deepen. Inhale back up, and again, exhale, deepen. 2, 3, inhale up, around, exhale, deepen. 2, 3, inhale up, around, and deepen. 2, 3, inhale up and switch. One more time each side. Deepen. 2, 3, inhale up, around, and deepen. 2, 3, inhale up, and back to center. Go ahead, take the ball between the knees. Make your way again onto your back. Take a breath in here. Curl through the low abs. Bridge the hips up, take a breath in at the top, soften and melt back down, 1 vertebra at a time, and release. Again, deepen in the low abs, curl through the tail, peel it up, take a breath in here at the top, and exhale, melt back down, 1 vertebra at a time, and release. Again, calling in those low abs, curl through the tail, peel the spine up, take a breath in here at the top, and exhale to lower back down, 1 vertebra at a time. This time we're going to stay lifted. Exhale and lift up. Stay lifted here, and we're going to squeeze the ball. Exhale, squeeze. 2, 3, exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 and hold. Lower the hips down, pulsing up. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 last. Soften, melting all the way back down through your imprint and release back to neutral. Again, call in the low abs, curl through the tail, peeling the hips up, stay elevated here, squeezing the ball for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold that connection. Lower the hips down, pulsing up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 last. Rolling it back down through imprint and release. Take the ball. If you can, this is kind of a exaggerated, not exaggerated, and a little bit more of an intermediate just for taking our challenge up a level. So one foot's on the ball, the other foot is on the mat surface here. You're going to just bridge the hips up. Try to keep equal pressure even though you have an uneven surface with the feet. Roll it back down. So that foot that's on the ball here is really working in that stability. Exhale, because you're pressing just as even as you would if the foot were just on the mat. Roll it back down. Just a few more here. Exhale, press, working that stability. Lower it back down. Last 2 here. Curling through, lift it up. Take a breath in, release it back down. 1 more time. Now here, if you would like, really put all your pressure into that foot and lift the other leg to tabletop and then lower it back down. It's just a really nice way to challenge that stability. Other side, take a breath in, exhale, bridging it up and back down, using the breath. Exhale, lifting it up and back down. Again, exhale up, 3, and lower. Breath work helps here tremendously with any sort of balance, stability work. 1 more time. Press it up and hold. Put pressure into that ball. Lift the other leg to tabletop and lower down. Stretch the leg out long. You're going to take the ball back to the first side. Stretch the leg so the back of the ankle is resting on the ball. We're going to take this now into your one leg circle so your leg can stay at tabletop. Stretch it to your degree depending on your hamstring length, or you can try to straighten the leg all the way up. If this doesn't work for you, this position, you can also bend the standing leg so that your knee is bent, but the foot is still resting on the ball. That's totally legit also. Otherwise, you're going to let the leg cross the midline, sweep down, out, and around, trying to stay really stable through that opposite leg. And again. 2 more times this direction. Even though this looks like a leg movement, reverse it. It's all about the core control here. There's not a lot of weeble wobble going on through your center. You could also bring the arms up so that you don't have that stability on the mat. 1 last. Bending that leg, we'll switch to the other side. Pick whichever variation worked best for you. Cross the leg over the midline, sweep it out and around. Around. Use the breath, especially the exhale. The further the leg is away from your center, the more that exhale will help. Last 2. And last 1. Reverse it here, opening the leg around. If you're like me and you tend to grip a lot in your hip flexor, you may need to bend the knee a little bit. That will help alleviate some of the tension in the hip. Otherwise, keep that leg long, up and around. Bending the knee, go ahead and release the leg back down. And then we'll set the ball off to the side. Extending the legs out nice and long, sitting up nice, straight, and tall. If you need to give yourself a little boost, it sometimes helps me if I fold up the end of my mat if I'm feeling really tight in my hamstrings. We're going to take a breath in here, lift the arms up, and then hinge forward with your spine as neutral as you can. You want to try not to just right away round into the spine. So if that means that your legs or your hands hit at your thighs or your knees or your shins, that's totally fine. Try not to bend or move from your spine just yet. Really maintain that nice, long, neutral position. Take a big deep breath and then go ahead and soften and round over the thighs. Just to your degree, wherever you're feeling it today. Big deep breath here. Relax the back of the neck. Pull in the pit of the abs and start to rebuild the spine all the way back up into a seated position. If that felt okay and you're ready to extend the legs long without having that little boost, go ahead and do so or keep it, your choice. Bending one knee, pull the opposite inner sole of the foot into your inner thigh. Even though the knee is here opened out to the side, it's very tempting to kind of rotate the torso. You want to try to keep your body as square toward that extended leg as you can. Lift up nice and tall out of your sit bones, and then you're going to hinge forward over that long leg. Sometimes it helps if you have the range of motion to hook that opposite hand to the outer thigh. Just try to really stay lifted through your chest here. Take one more big breath and then soften and round over the thigh. Pull in the belly, roll it back up. We'll switch sides. Square yourself off to that extended leg. Sit up nice, straight, and tall, and then hinge forward. Take a breath in, and then release over the leg. Pull in the abs, sit back up nice, straight, and tall. Take the legs out, give them a little beat from side to side, shake them out. And thank you all very much for joining me. Again, my name is Chandler Moore Sanders with Moore Wellness Studio. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends if you enjoyed this video. If you have any requests, I'm happy to build a class around anything that you might be needing, if it's a specific prop or body area or particular injury that you're working around. I'd be happy to build something around that. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you.